Art is never just about paint on canvas. It's about ideas, stories, and the way artists reflect the world we live in. Around the globe, painters are redefining landscapes, portraits, and abstraction in ways that feel fresh, emotional, and powerful. In this video, we'll explore some of the most exciting names shaping painting today, artists whose work speaks directly to our time. And before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep bringing you more art content like this. Zaria Forman. Zaria Forman is an American artist whose landscapes are unlike most others. Instead of hills or forests, she paints the icebergs, glaciers, and coastlines that are disappearing before our eyes. Working with soft pastels on paper, she creates hyper-realistic seascapes and frozen landscapes so detailed that viewers often mistake them for photographs. Her art is rooted in climate awareness, turning fragile environments into powerful works of beauty and warning. Forman's technique is remarkable. She uses only her hands to blend the pastels, building up layers of color and light until the ice looks translucent and the water appears to shimmer with motion. The sheer scale of her work, often massive sheets of paper, surrounds viewers with the presence of the landscapes, making the experience both intimate and overwhelming. In 2025, Zaria Forman continues to exhibit worldwide, with her work collected by major institutions and private collectors, who value both her technical mastery and her environmental message. She has also collaborated with scientists and expeditions, directly tying her practice to documenting the effects of climate change. On the market, her drawings have strong demand. Smaller works and limited editions often sell in the range of $10,000 to $30,000 USD, while her large-scale original pastels regularly achieve $50,000 to $100,000 USD. Some of her most ambitious pieces have gone higher, reflecting her position as one of the most significant contemporary landscape artists today. Doig. Doig is widely regarded as one of the greatest living painters, and in 2025 his landscapes remain as captivating as ever. Born in Scotland and raised between Trinidad and Canada, Doig brings together influences from all three places in his work. His landscapes often feel dreamlike: forests, rivers, snowy cabins, or tropical coastlines, painted in a way that blurs memory, imagination, and reality. What makes Doig's work so distinctive is his use of color and atmosphere. He often layers paint in translucent washes, allowing images to emerge slowly from the canvas. Figures sometimes appear, but they are small and distant, swallowed by vast environments. His paintings feel cinematic, as if they exist somewhere between a remembered place and a scene from a film. That's why his work resonates deeply with viewers. It captures the emotion of place rather than a literal representation of it. In 2025, Doig continues to be a central figure in the art world. His exhibitions in major museums draw international audiences, and his influence can be seen in a younger generation of painters who explore memory and narrative through landscape. On the market, Doig remains one of the most valuable living painters. His smaller works often sell in the range of $2 million to $6 million USD, while his large-scale canvases can command $10 million to $25 million USD at auction. His most significant pieces have achieved even higher, placing him firmly in the top tier of global contemporary art. Doig's ability to transform ordinary places into poetic, haunting visions has made him one of the most important landscape painters of our time, and in 2025, his work continues to shape how we think about painting itself. Hockney. Hockney is often called one of the most important living painters, and for good reason. Born in Bradford, England in 1937, Hockney has spent more than 6 decades reinventing the way we look at art. He first rose to prominence in the 1960s as part of the pop art movement, painting bold, colorful scenes that felt fresh and exciting in a post-war world. His portraits and famous swimming pool paintings from his years in Los Angeles became instant cultural icons, blending everyday life with a sense of joy and clarity that only Hockney could capture. But what makes Hockney stand out is his constant reinvention. He has never been afraid to try new mediums, from photography and printmaking to even the iPad. Many of his digital drawings and experiments with technology show that he refuses to be trapped in the past. He's an artist who believes that painting should evolve with the times, and he's proved it over and over again. In the last 2 decades, Hockney has returned to landscape painting with incredible results. His series of large, immersive works of the Yorkshire countryside where he grew up are a perfect example. Using vibrant colors and multiple canvases joined together, he creates sweeping views that feel alive and monumental. Standing in front of one of these landscapes, you don't just see the trees and fields. You feel the energy of the place, the changing seasons, and Hockney's own deep connection to nature. On the market side, Hockney remains one of the most valuable living artists. His auction record is over $90 million, and his total market value today is estimated at well over $200 million. Collectors see him not just as an artist of the past, but as someone still pushing boundaries in the present. Hurvin Anderson. Hurvin Anderson is a British painter whose landscapes are never just about scenery. They're about history, memory, and identity. Born in Birmingham to Jamaican parents, Anderson often paints places tied to his heritage: barbershops, public parks, Caribbean landscapes, and urban green spaces. His work explores how place shapes culture and how memory transforms the way we see the world. What makes Anderson's landscapes powerful is the way he layers paint. He blends abstraction with figuration. Trees dissolve into geometric shapes, skies are filtered through grids, and familiar places feel like they exist somewhere between the real and the remembered. His paintings don't simply show you a view. They ask you to think about the personal and political stories attached to that view. In 2025, Anderson continues to hold a major place in contemporary painting. His large-scale works have been exhibited in leading museums across Europe and North America, and his reputation as a painter who bridges personal experience with universal themes keeps growing. On the market side, Anderson is firmly established. His mid-sized works often achieve between $300,000 and $700,000 USD at auction, while his larger and more complex canvases can sell for well over $1 million, with top pieces reaching beyond $3 million. Collectors value both his technical mastery and the cultural depth embedded in his landscapes. Hurvin Anderson has shown that landscape painting can be more than a visual record of place. In his hands, it becomes a space where memory, migration, and identity all meet. And that's why he stands as one of the most exciting painters of 2025. George Shaw. George Shaw is a British painter best known for his hauntingly familiar suburban landscapes. Instead of mountains or coastlines, his subject matter is the housing estates, alleyways, and woods around Coventry where he grew up. He paints them in enamel, the same material used for model airplanes, which gives his surfaces a strange, glossy finish. The result is both ordinary and unsettling, scenes of everyday places, yet charged with memory, absence, and quiet tension. Shaw came to wide recognition in the 2000s and was nominated for the Turner Prize in 2011. Since then, he's built a steady reputation as one of Britain's most distinctive voices in landscape painting. His works aren't about beauty in the traditional sense, they're about honesty. He paints the overlooked parts of modern life, showing that landscape is not just nature, it's also the built environment where we live our lives. In 2025, George Shaw continues to be exhibited internationally, with collectors, institutions, and museums acquiring his work. His landscapes resonate because they carry a universal truth. Everyone has a version of these quiet streets or woods in their memory. As for his market value, Shaw is firmly established in the contemporary art market. Smaller works and drawings can sell in the range of $30,000 to $70,000 USD, while larger enamel paintings often achieve prices upwards of $150,000 to $300,000 USD at auction, with major pieces in institutional collections commanding even higher valuations. Jori Poutanen. Jori Poutanen is an Australian painter whose landscapes are rooted in lived experience. He doesn't just paint scenery, he paints the feeling of being out there on the road, surrounded by the red earth, open skies, and winding country tracks that define so much of rural Australia. His canvases often feature long stretches of highway, dusty fields, and silhouettes of gum trees. These aren't idealized postcards, they're honest, familiar views that resonate with anyone who has traveled through the Australian countryside. Technically, Jori works in oils, using warm tones and strong contrasts to bring light into his compositions. His skies often feel heavy with heat, while the land below stretches endlessly, giving a sense of both vastness and intimacy. He has a way of capturing solitude, but also the quiet beauty of distance. That mix makes his work compelling to both local audiences and international collectors who are drawn to authentic representations of place. In 2025, Jori Poutanen is steadily building recognition through Australian galleries and online art platforms. His landscapes strike a balance between traditional painting and contemporary storytelling, which has given him a loyal collector base. When it comes to market value, his work is considered accessible but steadily climbing. Smaller canvases often sell around $700 to $1,500 USD, while medium to large works can range between $2,000 and $5,000 USD, depending on scale and exhibition presence. Collectors see him as a solid emerging to mid-career artist, with strong potential for growth as his profile expands. Katie Leavey. Katie Leavey is an Australian landscape painter whose work has been gaining real momentum in 2025. She paints with a softness that feels almost atmospheric. Her canvases often blur the line between memory and reality. Instead of pinning down every leaf or cloud, Katie lets her brushstrokes dissolve into layers of light, creating landscapes that feel dreamy yet familiar. It's this balance that makes her work so appealing to both everyday collectors and serious buyers. Her paintings often capture coastal views, rolling hills, and rural settings, but what really defines her style is mood. Whether it's a warm glow across the horizon or a misty, cool-toned morning, Katie creates spaces that invite viewers to pause and reflect. She's part of a growing wave of Australian artists whose work connects deeply with modern audiences, landscapes that feel not only beautiful but also restorative. In 2025, Katie has been highlighted on major Australian art platforms and continues to show across galleries that focus on contemporary landscape painting. Her presence online has also expanded her reach, bringing in collectors from outside Australia who are drawn to her atmospheric style. As for her market value, Katie Leavey's work remains accessible but has shown steady growth. Smaller canvases usually range between $600 and $1,200 USD, while medium to large works can go from $2,000 to $5,000 USD, depending on size, detail, and exhibition history. Limited edition prints of her landscapes often sell for a few $100s, making her art more widely collectible. Sushree Sahu. Sushree Sahu is a rising landscape painter whose work stands out for its atmosphere. She isn't just painting places, she's painting moods. Her skies are often heavy with drama, layered with grays, purples, and deep blues, while the land beneath is painted in softer tones that balance the composition. Looking at her work feels like stepping into a moment where nature itself is the storyteller. What makes her landscapes exciting is the emotional depth. She avoids over-polishing her canvases and instead allows brushstrokes and textures to remain visible. This approach creates movement, giving the viewer the sense that clouds are shifting, light is fading, or a storm is about to break. Her art speaks to those who want more than a pretty view. It speaks to people who want to feel something when they stand in front of a painting. In 2025, Sushree Sahu is beginning to attract more attention through online art platforms and curated selections that highlight her as an emerging voice to watch. Collectors value the way her paintings bridge traditional landscape themes with a contemporary, emotionally charged execution. When it comes to market value, her work is still very accessible, but interest is growing. Smaller pieces typically range from around $400 to $900 USD, while larger canvases can reach $1,500 to $3,000 USD, depending on scale and complexity. She also offers works in accessible formats, such as prints, which start at a few $100s, making her art approachable to new collectors. Laurence. When you look at a painting by Laurence, you feel like you've stumbled into a memory. He's an Australian landscape painter who captures coastlines, open skies, and tree-lined hills with a calm simplicity dot. His work doesn't try to overwhelm you with detail. Instead, he paints with broad strokes of light and color, leaving just enough space for your own imagination to fill in the story. Jay often works in oils and acrylics, building scenes that feel both familiar and timeless. Beaches, river mouths, quiet country roads. He brings these places onto the canvas in a way that feels approachable, like you could step right into them. What makes Jay exciting in 2025 is how well his art fits into modern homes and contemporary life. His landscapes bring a sense of calm and belonging, and that has earned him a loyal following online as well as steady collectors through Australian galleries. In terms of the market, Laurence is still accessible compared to the big names. Most of his original paintings range from around $200 to $800 Australian dollars, depending on size and detail. Smaller works and prints are more affordable, often starting near $250, while his larger or commissioned pieces can reach into the low thousands. Laurence may not be a household name yet, but his ability to capture the quiet poetry of the landscape is why he's one of the painters to watch closely in 2025. Riordan. Riordan is a painter who approaches landscape with a strong sense of atmosphere. Instead of focusing only on perfect detail, she layers her brush strokes to create mood, soft skies, glowing horizons, and rolling fields that feel alive with shifting light. When you look at her work, it's less about a specific location and more about the feeling of being there, standing still for a moment in nature. Her process often involves building texture on the canvas, using acrylics and oils to let color and depth slowly emerge. You'll notice how she balances calm tones with sudden bursts of brightness, guiding your eye across the canvas like a walk through open countryside. That's where her strength lies. She paints landscapes not as postcards, but as emotional spaces that you carry with you. In 2025, Riordan is beginning to gain steady attention through group shows and regional exhibitions. Collectors are drawn to her ability to make everyday scenery feel timeless. Her work appeals both to serious buyers who look for long-term potential and to younger collectors who want art that feels personal and calming in their living spaces. As for her market value, Marie's paintings are still within an approachable range. Smaller works often start around $500 to $1,200 USD, while medium to large canvases can range between $2,000 and $5,000, depending on scale and exhibition history. For collectors, this positions her as an exciting emerging name, accessible now but with room to grow as her recognition expands. Amaria Stark. Amaria Stark is a painter who is making landscapes feel fresh again. Instead of treating nature as something distant, she pulls you right into the moment with her bold use of texture and light. Her canvases often shift with the seasons, spring meadows glowing in soft greens, autumn forests drenched in orange and red, and winter skies heavy with gray-blue tones. Each piece feels like a snapshot of time, captured not just with paint, but with emotion. What makes Amaria stand out is her balance between detail and freedom. She doesn't chase hyperrealism. Instead, she lets brushstrokes remain visible, so you sense the movement of her hand. That openness gives her paintings energy, almost like the wind or the light is still moving across the canvas. Collectors describe her work as both vibrant and calming, a combination that makes her landscapes ideal for modern interiors. In 2025, Amaria Stark is gaining recognition through online platforms, regional galleries, and social media. She represents a new wave of landscape painters who are building strong followings by connecting directly with audiences worldwide. On the market side, her paintings remain relatively affordable for collectors looking to invest early. Smaller works often sell in the range of $400 to $1,000 USD, while larger, more detailed canvases can reach $2,000 to $4,000 depending on scale and demand. Limited edition prints make her work even more accessible, usually starting a few $100s. Amaria Stark may still be considered an emerging artist, but her ability to capture shifting light and season in such an expressive way is why she's seen as one of the most exciting landscape painters working today. MacGregor. MacGregor is an artist whose career took a major leap forward in 2025 when he won Landscape Artist of the Year on Sky Arts. That win put him firmly on the radar of collectors, curators, and institutions, and it cemented his reputation as one of the most exciting contemporary landscape painters to watch. What makes MacGregor stand out is the way he approaches place. His paintings don't just capture what a landscape looks like, they reveal how it feels. He combines strong composition with expressive brushwork, building surfaces that are rich in texture and movement. His landscapes can shift from soft and atmospheric to bold and dramatic, always with a sense of vitality. MacGregor often works directly from life, painting outdoors to catch fleeting light and weather. This gives his work a natural freshness that viewers respond to immediately. You can sense the moment, the chill of the air, the warmth of the sun, or the weight of approaching rain. It's this immediacy that made him a standout in the competition and continues to drive interest in his art. Since his 2025 breakthrough, his market value has risen quickly. Smaller works and studies are now selling in the range of $2,000 to $5,000 USD, while larger canvases can reach $8,000 to $15,000 USD depending on scale and exhibition context. With the increased exposure from his award, his prices are expected to climb steadily as demand continues. MacGregor represents a new wave of landscape painting in Britain, rooted in tradition but alive with contemporary energy. His rise in 2025 shows how a fresh, authentic vision of nature can still captivate audiences today.